organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up tonight on Daily Iowan TV, find out how faculty and staff are giving back to the University of Iowa.
And we'll give you an inside look at one new store opening in downtown Iowa City.
Iowa volleyball has a dominant position that's making their mark.
Find out who coming up in sports.
We've got all that and more headed your way.
You're watching Daily Iowan TV.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jeremy Meyer.
And I'm Megan Sanchez.
A federal appeals court met with the NCAA this Wednesday, where they discussed whether or not college athletes should be paid.
Daily Iowan TV's Taylor Brooks is standing by in the sports studio with the latest on the decision.
Thanks, guys. The Federal Appeals Court agreed that the use of college athletes' names, images, and likeness in video games and TV broadcasts violate antitrust laws. However, they are developing a plan to allow schools to pay football and basketball players up to $5,000 per year. Schools will still be able to choose whether or not they receive full tuition scholarships, and this dollar amount is to be used for student athletes' personal expenses such as travel. During this meeting, there was also a proposal for deferred cash payments that could be an income for student athletes. Daily Iowan TV and Daily Iowan TV Sports will keep you updated as the story develops. Jeremy and Megan, back to you guys.
2 people were hospitalized Tuesday evening after they were hit by a car near Kinnick Stadium. The crash happened around 5 p.m. Tuesday near the intersection of Melrose and Hawkins Drive. 49-year-old Peggy Knight and 59-year-old Anthony Knight were attempting to cross in the crosswalk when the car struck them. Reports say 45-year-old Michelle Mlazewski, who may have suffered a medical issue during the crash, was driving the car. Peggy and Anthony Knight were taken to the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics.
Russia has begun bombing Syria. The Russians' first airstrikes are targeting what they say are Islamic State positions. However, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and other officials doubt this claim and believe that Russia is attacking Syrian government opposition groups. Kerry expressed his views during the UN Security Council meeting on Wednesday. Kerry said, quote, "Moreover, we have also made clear that we would have grave concerns over Russia's strike areas where ISIL and al-Qaeda affiliated targets are not operating. Strikes of that kind would question Russia's real intentions, fighting ISIL or protecting the Assad regime." Daily Iowan TV will give you the updates as this story develops.
The principal of a South Dakota high school was shot and wounded during a school shooting on Wednesday. Harrisburg High School principal Kevin Line suffered a flesh wound, but no one else was harmed. A student suspected of shooting Line is now in custody. Officials say the high school's 635 students were safe and the school was locked down.
A police officer responding to a suspicious person report was fatally shot at a shopping mall in Forest Acres, South Carolina, Wednesday morning. Officer Greg Alia confronted the suspicious person and was later shot after a struggle between the two. Now, the shopping mall closed after the incident and a nearby high school was locked down briefly. The suspect is now in custody.
The former location of Whitey's Ice Cream, 112 East Washington Street, will soon take on a different look. The space, which is currently undergoing construction, will be the temporary location for 10,000 Villages, a retailer that offers goods from all over the world. 10,000 Villages is an independent, nonprofit organization which creates opportunities for artists in developing countries to earn income through fair trade. The goods the artists make are then sold here in Iowa City. Here's what Cynthia Schrock had to say about the new products she received for the store.
I bought this last year at the store. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it is made out of orange peel. This is from a Colombian artist.
The store hopes to become a permanent location in downtown Iowa City.
Well, as one business opens, another one closes. Austin Burke Clothers has announced plans to shut down its business. The men's formal wear store has been a part of downtown Iowa City for over 2 decades. The store will continue to be open while inventory remains, but will close by the end of the year. Well, Megan, with October nearly upon us, it's starting to feel like fall right now in Iowa City.
Absolutely, Jeremy. I'm just waiting for those red and orange leaf colors to come out that we love so much. But let's toss it over to Iowan Rowe for the latest weather.
The rest of the weather looks like it's going to continue with the lovely fall temperatures, with Thursday starting off with temperatures at 45 degrees. Progressing into the afternoon, temperatures will get a little warmer and will rise to 62 degrees with clear skies. And in the evening, temperatures will drop to 54 degrees. And on Friday, expect temperatures to be at a high of 64 degrees with a low of 41. Into the rest of the week and early next week, it looks like temperatures will remain the same with highs in the 60s and lows in the 40s. That's all I have here at the studio. Back to you guys at the desk.
Now, you may have seen We Are Phil signs all across campus. Phil is short for philanthropy, and it's the University of Iowa's faculty and staff campaign to give back to the campus and Iowa City community through donations. This week is dedicated to showing awareness for the campaign and to get more people involved. Austin Love takes a look.
This afternoon, it sounded more like a typical day at the beach than a fall day in Iowa. Those good vibes in the air reflect a lot of what We Are Phil is accomplishing here on campus.
To support students. That is our mission here at the University of Iowa. And the money that is donated to the university supports students.
And over the last 3 years that this campaign has been around, faculty and staff have done just that by raising $1.5 billion. While that is a lot of support, they aren't stopping there.
We're building culture on the campus, and I feel like it's been really good in the places on campus that we've had that impact thus far. And I think just as it continues to spread out and people see it's a good thing they want to be a part of, we'll get there.
Now, one of the best parts about getting involved with Phil is you can actually choose where your donations are going around campus. So you could pick the journalism school where I hang out, to your favorite Hawkeye sport, the new addition to the Children's Hospital, to the construction of the new music building. Phil has their hands in just about everything here on campus.
Professor Dan Matheson says he reserves a little bit of his paycheck for Phil because of the impact he sees it has on students.
I believe in it. I see the difference that it makes for students, and I feel honored to be a part of student success.
Jamming out in Iowa City, Austin Love, Daily Iowan TV.
On Wednesday, the State Department announced 6,000 additional pages of Hillary Clinton's emails will be released to the public. This installment will contain emails from late 2010 through early 2011. All of the messages were written by Clinton or sent by others through her private email account she used during her position as America's top diplomat. 37% of her work will be made public by January 2016.
There's been a reversal in fate for 2 local racing kennels. The 2 kennels were banned a few weeks ago from entering races after their greyhound dogs tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. They have now been cleared to compete. The Iowa Racing and Gaming Commission administrator said a number of greyhounds from the 2 kennels have been put back on the active list. The majority of the dogs have been cleared to race, while others are still waiting for enzyme results.
Now, Megan, Iowa football isn't the only team headed towards conference play right now. In fact, Iowa volleyball already getting going in the Big Ten.
Absolutely, and I'm pretty sure the ladies in the sports studio have the latest on the volleyball team. Let's toss it over to Jordan Maloney and Hannah Thompson.
Thanks, Jeremy and Megan. That story earlier about the NCAA ruling out athletes getting paid is quite a big deal.
Especially on our Iowa campus, since we are a Big Ten school and athletes are constantly putting their attention towards the sports that they're in.
Absolutely, and it's easy to see both sides of it, so I'm glad they're making some decisions.
Yep, and speaking of student athletes, let's head to the court.
That's right, more specifically, the volleyball court. The Iowa women's volleyball team has had a successful season so far as they surge through their non-conference play with multiple wins. But now it's on to Big Ten play, and I took a look at one consistent part of the team that's getting the job done. As Iowa played Nebraska last Wednesday for their Big Ten home opener, one thing was very clear about the team. They have a powerhouse front row. From the setting to the hitting from any position, the front row makes the magic happen. Key powerhouse players like Jess Janata, Lauren Brobst, and Loxley Kayala lead the offense and have to take on a lot of responsibility to get the job done.
I think it's the most intense spot. You know, you're closest to your opponent. Your responsibility is to get the kills, which is what most people think about when they think of volleyball. So it's just a very powerful position to be in because you have so much control over the game.
And even though the front row makes it look effortless as they put the ball away during game time situations, a lot of work and practice goes into what they do.
We'll usually move into like some pass hit situations and hit against shovels and like around things, and then we'll move on to like 55 balls or out of system balls and work around shovels or around the defenses, and then we'll get into some 6-on-6 play.
It's not always easy, but that big put away is definitely worth it no matter what position you're in.
I mean, I really love the job that I have. I mean, it comes with the responsibility of being a setter. It just comes with the position. It's like a quarterback, and so you know, you're kind of the leader out there and kind of the one who everyone looks to for what's going to happen next, and I just love what I do.
Now, whether it's during a high-pressure situation like the Nebraska game or during their high-energy practices, the front row is always ready to kill it.
They definitely have a powerful group up front.
Yes, they do. They're a lot of fun to watch, and I can't wait to keep watching them throughout the season. But next Wednesday, I'll be heading to the back row to see where they stand within the team.
As we're in the middle of the week, we all know that there will be Iowa football on Saturday, but there are so many other Iowa sports competing this weekend.
Absolutely. Our weekend preview crew went out earlier today and updates us on where all the other Hawkeye sports will be this weekend. Take it away, Taylor.
Thanks, guys. There is only 2 days till the weekend, which means Hawkeye athletics will be all over the country once again. I'm standing at Grant Field where the field hockey team will not be at this weekend. Instead, they will travel to Evanston, Illinois to face number 14 Northwestern. Now, Northwestern and Iowa do share a mutual loss to Indiana. As for Iowa, their defensive strides can be noted, especially the duo of Stephanie Norlander and Chandler Akers. Hopefully, those two can lead this young team to bounce back. Now I'll send it over to Holly Reimer over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Holly?
Thanks, Taylor. The Iowa women's volleyball team is on the road this weekend. The team will face off against Ohio State this Friday, October 2nd, and then make their way to Pennsylvania to play the #1 ranked Penn State. The team is looking to come back from their loss against Nebraska last week and come out with that first conference W of the season. Sending it over to Katie Reber at the soccer complex. Katie?
Thanks, Holly. The Iowa women's soccer team will head to Indiana on Saturday as the Hawks take on the Hoosiers. Last season, Iowa shut out Indiana 1-0 here at the Iowa Soccer Complex. Now, both coaches are fairly new to their respective teams. Head coach Dave Diani leading the Hawks for his second season, and Hoosiers head coach Amy Burberry returning for her third season. This matchup should be pretty interesting as Indiana is 0-2 in Big Ten Conference play, and Iowa is 0-4 against this season's Big Ten opponents thus far. Now, obviously, there are a lot of exciting Hawkeye sports going on this weekend. These are the ones we're highlighting, so be sure to check them out. This is Katie Reber at the Iowa Soccer Complex. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thanks, ladies. And there's still so many other Iowa sports going on over the weekend.
Absolutely. Men's and women's cross country are at Notre Dame. Men's tennis is traveling to Tulsa, and women's tennis will be at Purdue.
So many sports and so many teams, and we'll keep you updated on all of them.
That's all for Jordan and I here in the sports studio this Wednesday night, but meet the football crew here Thursday night for Iowa's first Big Ten Conference showdown. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Now, before we leave you tonight, one baby in Florida has a lot to celebrate for his birthday.
Jackson Buell was born with a rare birth defect, leaving him with just a partial brain and skull.
Now, most babies born with this birth defect do not live past their birth, but Jackson defied the odds and is celebrating his first birthday.
Well, Jeremy, what a happy ending to that story. Absolutely great for them.
Perseverance, it's a beautiful thing. Happy birthday, Jackson. That's all we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to tune in tomorrow or anytime online for the latest news, weather, and Hawkeye sports. I'm Megan Sanchez.
And I'm Jeremy Meyer. Go Hawks, and good night.